Welcome back to the Hard AF podcast. I'm your host, Chelsea Van Buskirk. In today's episode, I share some intimate details on some of the struggles I've had with our son who has a sensory processing disorder, and how one of his recent dysregulated moments provided me a much needed lesson to remember the importance of taking a pause and the difference between our feelings and our emotions, and how to work through and reflect on these heightened moments we find ourselves in. Are you ready? Let's go. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, I had a little bit of a meltdown, I guess you could say. I found myself in a situation where I was extremely dysregulated, and I felt like it would be a great example to share with you guys because it illustrates this whole idea on the difference between emotions and feelings, and when they come up and when they arise and when we find ourselves in dysregulated states, and how we can move through these scenarios and become regulated again. And the situation involves my son, and he has been a great teacher for me. I don't know that I have shared much detail about the things we've had to deal with him, because I feel like a lot of this stuff was coming up during the time I took the break from the show. So I don't think I've shared too many details on the things we experienced with my son. He is 6 years old now. He's a first grader, but back when he was 3, his preschool told us we should get him evaluated because they just noticed a few delays and they thought it would be wise for us to get him evaluated, which we did. And so he was diagnosed with a sensory processing disorder and a social emotional delay. So, like, cognitively, he's great. Like, he's on track with like his age and everything. But compared to his peers, like, his social emotional development isn't where it should be. And he also had a speech delay. So he had a lot of trouble being able to, and he still does. I mean, he's gotten a lot better, but like his ability to externally express himself. So to speak for his needs or to communicate properly with his peers, or even, us, his parents or his teachers, it's very hard for him to articulate and express himself in an effective way. And so that had caused a lot of issues because he was using his body to communicate, and just, not having the language or the words or the ability to fully express himself has caused him a lot of issues. And we've noticed, it causes strain in his friendships, and he gets super frustrated easily. With the sensory processing disorder stuff, like, he likes routine. And so when things go out of his routine, he can get very dysregulated, or it's very hard for him to self-regulate or emotionally regulate him when he's kind of in this dysregulated state, when something sets him off, and when he doesn't have the words or the vocabulary to express like what his needs are, what the problem is. It just makes things that much harder. So we did battle with a lot of issues with his preschool and things like that. But the good news is, with that evaluation, with his diagnosis, he qualified for in-school services. So when he started kindergarten, he has like a special education team, and he's got a lot of people in his corner, like a huge support system at school, which has been phenomenal. We also do some outside speech and occupational therapy that's outside of the school, but he also gets those services in school as well. So anyway, let's get back to the point. This last weekend we had a baseball game. So baseball's been he hasn't done it before, and I was a little nervous about him joining this team because some of the team was established, like they had played together, in a previous season, and then there was a lot of newcomers. So I wasn't really sure, and the age group was 5 to 7, and I was a little nervous about how he would respond or how he would do in a team setting. But he did pretty well, and he actually, like, he grew a lot in his developing his skills. And one of the things too that we see with his delay is he's got his gross and fine motor skills need work. So it's hard for him to do jumping jacks, and so him learning to make contact with a ball with the bat, that was a very hard task for him to get down. But he did really well, and he seemed to be very proud about his accomplishments and his development and being on the team. And one game he did really well where he earned the game ball for that game. It's something his teachers told me that he was super proud of about, so it's something that he seemed to really enjoy. And typically our routine is his games are on Saturday. Well, the season's ending, and we had a playoff game on a Friday night, which is not the norm. And the other thing that I will give you some context for is my son has also developed a friendship with the neighborhood kid who lives right next door. He's a boy who is just 1 year younger than him, so he just started kindergarten, and my son's in first grade. And it's been a really awesome for him to have this friendship, and especially that it's a next door neighbor. So it's something that he looks forward to doing, especially on Friday nights. He gets to go play with his friend. They go, back and forth between the backyards and in each other's houses. And so this Friday, he was looking forward to having that kind of routine of being able to play with his friend and, being at Friday night. So he didn't have as early as a bedtime as during the week. But this Friday, we have the baseball game. So, I'm telling him, like, we got the game today. He's very upset about it, does not want to go, says he hates baseball, like, does not want to go because he wants to, I know that it's because he wants to stay at home. He wants to play with his friend. The game was at a different location. It was at one of his favorite playground parks. So I thought that would incentivize him or get him excited, but he was just like not having it. It was a battle just getting his uniform on. And I was, being solo parent because it was a Friday evening game, like an early evening game. So my husband was going to have to meet us there after work. So I was by myself. Grandparents were coming to meet us at the game as well. So anyway, I get him unwillingly into his uniform. It was another battle just trying to get him in the car. It's like he was very resistant. I finally get him in the car. He is very upset. You can tell very agitated, very frustrated because this is not what he wants to do with his Friday afternoon. Like he wants to stay home and play. It's after a long day of school where normally his games are Saturday morning. So it's like he's had time to, relax, that kind of thing. But anyway, I get him in the car. His dad calls. I put him on speakerphone and his dad's trying to reason with him. Like we're trying to get him to talk. Like one of our things is that we've been working on is trying to get him in touch with his feelings. Like, what are you feeling? Like, what is going on inside you so we can kind of better understand where he's at, like where his head is at, so we can try to help him, regulate and get, back to like this neutral kind of space. So, you think of like a gear shift on a car, right? Like it's like we're trying to downshift him from that heightened state, right? We're trying to, downshift so he can get back to that neutral to where he can, adapt and move forward and like be, active in the situation. So my husband's on speakerphone. My son does not even want to hold the phone. He's throwing the phone. He hangs up on my husband. We call him back. Like we're trying to talk to him. He's just refusing to speak. Like he's just using his body, like kicking the seat, just totally unhappy, very upset that he's in the car, does not want to go. Pull up into the parking lot, and I can see as we're pulling up that the team has already been there for a while. They've been practicing. And so already I'm starting to feel like insecure about like, oh my gosh, we're late. Like they didn't say we had to be here early. Like, normally on our game schedule, it tells us to be there an hour early for a game, but on the schedule for this playoff game, because it's different, it didn't say to be there an hour early. There was nothing in the chat about being there any earlier, but clearly most of the team is there earlier and they're all like practicing, and we're just now playing in the parking lot. So already I'm feeling like this guilt and shame about that. I'm frustrated because, my son is not participating. He's not like wavering. He's not like getting over it. Like he's still very much in a heightened state. So we pull in, we park, and I go into the back seat. I crawl over and I unbuckle him and I just try to hug him. And I'm just trying to get, I'm trying to let him know, like, hey, mom's here. I got you. Like, it's okay. Like, what's going on? And he just still was very resistant and just, I hate baseball and I don't want to be here. I want to go home. Like, and a part of me was like, I don't think he's going to get over this. Like, it would be so much easier just to go home. Like, I don't even want to put him in this situation. I can tell he's like completely agitated, like, not about it. I just feel like this is going to be an uphill battle. But at the same time, it's like it's his last game, right? It's the playoff game. The season's almost over. Like, we made a commitment to the team. And I also know that he feels this sense of pride when he actually, plays and he does well and he's like picking up these skills. And then, the team's counting on us. And I was bringing the team snacks that day and everything. So it was like, come on, buddy, like, let's just go. Like, it's your last game. Like, let's just get this last game done. And then you don't have to do baseball again if you don't want to, right? Like I'm trying to bargain with him. I'm trying to reason with him. And he is just completely shut down, like not about it. Can't communicate with me, just still upset, kicking, like not wanting to do anything. And so then that heightens me. I react. I'm upset. I'm getting frustrated. Like, why are you not listening to me, right? Like there's this like sense of I'm not in control. Why is my kid not just sucking it up, right? And I'm trying to like negotiate with a 6 year old, which is very difficult. And, I feel that's one of the things that we talk about, like me and my husband, is because he's very much more the disciplinary, and my son usually listens to him better. Like I'm more of like the soft place, and it's kind of one of the like the jokes in the family is that I'm kind of like the enabler, or he has a soft spot for me, or I have a soft spot for him rather. And they kind of think he gets away with a lot of stuff. And it's not that I don't want to hold like a standard or discipline him or any of that. It's that, I can understand that there's this underlying issue, right? And I feel like I don't want to like punish him for something that he's struggling to just like regulate himself. Because really, I think it boils down to this dysregulated state and he just needs to be regulated, right? Like I know that's the underlying cause of this behavior. That's like an unwanted behavior, right? So I'm heightened. I'm my patience is run thin. I'm feeling like all this shame and judgment. Like the team's already practicing, like they know we're late. So I'm like over it, I'm like, get your ass out of the car. I am yelling at him like you need to get out right now. And so he finally responds to that kind of like harsh, mean words because I'm in that angry state, right? Yell at him enough to where he gets out of the car. We're walking up to the dugout. They have finished practicing. The team's getting into the dugout. He is like refusing to go into the dugout. Like he's standing there, like not wanting to move. And I'm like, get in there, bud. Put your backpack away. Like, get your backpack hung up in the dugout. And the coach sees that, he's obviously having a moment. So the coach even tries, like, kind of brings him over, gives him a hug, and is trying to talk to him to like get him like excited about like getting there. And he's just like completely shut down. He is not responding. Like, he is just upset, like resistant. And obviously, the coach doesn't have all the time in the world to like sit there with him. So, because he's got to get the team ready, like the game's going to start in a few minutes. So, he's got to line the people up, get everybody sorted out for the game to start. And he won't go into the dugout. And so, I'm texting his dad because he's still like 10 minutes away. And I'm like, he's refusing to go in the dugout. I don't know what to do. Like, this is so embarrassing. Like, I'm feeling like everybody's watching me and judging me. Like, probably saying that I'm like a horrible parent, like I can't even like get my kid to do this, that those are the things that are going through my head. And my husband calls, he's like, put me on speakerphone. And so he's yelling and, through the phone at my son. And he goes into the dugout because he's like scared, right? Like, he knows dad's angry now, mom's already angry and yelled at me. So he goes into the dugout. But again, he's just not participating. Like he's in the dugout now that he's not participating. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do. And I am like, so just, I'm heightened, right? Like I'm heightened. And I'm going back to all these like guilt and shame, judgment feelings, right? Because we've never had any issues like this with my daughters. They're a lot older. And so there's always been these questions swirling around my head like, is this just because he's a boy? Is this because he's the third born, the baby? Is this because we have such a huge age gap? Is it because I was the stay-at-home mom with my two older girls, and when I had my son, I was working full-time as a realtor, and he went into childcare from an early age. Like he was in childcare as an infant, and I was working, so I wasn't around a lot. And then when he was two, my dad died, and I was gone a lot. Like there's a lot of guilt that I hold, feeling like I have some responsibility, or it was my fault that he has some of these issues that he has, right? Like I think that as a parent, like you just blame yourself, right? Like there's a lot of that guilt, and so this situation is like festering all those old thoughts and feelings. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I have no control over my son. Like, I feel like a horrible parent. Like, people are like probably thinking that they're watching me, they're judging me. And I start to walk away because I'm like, maybe if I just step away and I'm not like my son can't see me, maybe he'll like, know I'm not watching, and maybe he'll finally like work through this and start participating. So I start to walk away, and one of my friends who's the wife of the coach, she approaches me and she's like, "Are you okay?" And in that moment, I was just like, no, I was like, I need to go to my car. And I remember I just like set my water down and I walked to my car and I just started like bawling, just crying, just feeling like so powerless. Like, what is wrong with my son? Like, why can't I figure this out? Like, there's all this like self-doubt and like this guilt and this shame, and just feeling like all these parents just saw me trying to get my son and my son won't even like participate. Like, they're probably thinking like, why did I even bring him? And I'm questioning, why did I even bring him? Like, why am I even here? So I cry, I sob, I get it out. I come back out of the car. My mother-in-law shows up, my husband shows up, and I'm like just kind of quiet. I don't have words. Like there's just like all this shame and guilt I'm feeling. And my mother-in-law like hugs me when she sees me, as she normally does, and I just crumbled. As soon as she hugged me, I hugged onto her and I just started sobbing again, just like uncontrollably sobbing. And so she just held on tighter and tighter, which just made he cried even more. And I'm going to get emotional about it too, because it was just this moment of feeling like I feel so alone. And I don't have my parents here anymore. My dad's been gone for 4 years now, which just seems crazy. And it's like I don't have a parent to call anymore to like help support me. And, I mean, even if you do have, parents here, like sometimes you can easily feel unsupported, or you just like no parent really knows what they're doing, right? Like, I mean, I feel like that's no parent knows what they're doing. They just do the best that they can in that moment, right? So in her hug, I was able to like release and let these feelings through, let the emotions out, and it was just comforting. I got that support I needed in that moment. And I think my husband didn't quite see like how affected I was in that moment until he saw that embrace with his mother. And then later he came and put his arm around me too, and trying to offer that support. And she asked what was going on. I just said, Holton's having a hard day, like he doesn't want to be here, he doesn't want to do this, and I'm having a hard time. So she tries to talk to him through the dugout. And I think they'd already like switched off, like they had started batting and he didn't participate. They went in the outfield. He still wasn't participating. He's just kind of walking around in the dugout, and other coaches are trying to get him to participate. His dad went over there trying to like yell some sense into him. So we're sitting there, and then like by the time they change over to where they're getting ready to bat again, like he's finally regulated. Like he's finally like over it. Like he's finally with the team. He's like kind of coming, like he's interacting with the teammates, and he gets his stuff ready to bat. And I see this kind of like change in energy, right? Like he finally regulated. I'm calm now too. I had my cry, I had my hug, I let some stuff out, and he goes and it's his turn to bat, and he hits the ball, and one of the players was able to score a run on his hit, which was like a huge deal. It was amazing. And the team ended up having an amazing game. He ended up having an amazing game. Like he was having a good time by the end of it. And the coach was so proud. Like they did so well. This was one of the best games they had all season. And the coach is like, let's get ice cream afterwards. Like everybody's having a great time. Like all the parents are having a great time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's so crazy to me, like how heightened I was, at the beginning of this game, the beginning of this evening. I was like just in that heightened state, just like my son was. And it's crazy. And you're like, oh my gosh, it wasn't that big of a deal. But in the moment, it feels like your world is on fire, right? Like it feels so chaotic, so intense. It feels like life or death. But then it's not, right? Like, but in the moment, it does. And so this is kind of what I was thinking, this whole story, this whole thing, like really shows us this kind of like a way to look at our feelings versus emotions. Okay. So emotions, those are like instant. Those are like our subconscious, automatic, like body sensations that we are responding to the stimuli around us, right? Um, they're meant to like keep us safe. They're for our survival, right? It's like this pre-programmed unconscious, like just reaction. And the thing about those emotions is they're short-lived, right? Like if we can pause, breathe, take a minute, take a timeout, go get a hug, go get a cry out, right? Like go take a time out in the car, like whatever it is, like take a time, like it passes and then everything's okay. But our feelings, those are when we're trying to make sense of what has happened. That is our mind, that those are our thoughts that we're trying to make sense of things, where we're creating stories attaching to the experience. And those kind of come on more slowly. And they also are things that we can hold on to longer, right? Like they don't pass because we keep ruminating on the story, or we keep replaying what happened, and we're placing meaning to it, where we're playing this story, right? We're putting sense of like what happened, and we can attach ourselves to that. And so sometimes those feelings can stay with us. Those can last hours, days, or even years, depending on how long we're replaying that story, right? And so what it got me thinking of is like, it's replaying for me, for my situation. And when I was dysregulated, like it was replaying the story of like, you're not a good mom, you don't know what you're doing, like you don't have support, like that it's your fault that your son has this behavior, like you aren't strong enough, you're not consistent enough, like just all those things, like people are judging you, people are watching you, which they probably aren't, like maybe they are, who knows. But that's like, that's one of those things where it's like you can't control what other people think or say about you, so you have to just like let them, right? Like you, like the whole let them theory, right? Like let them say or think whatever they want to, but that's not real, it's not the truth, and it's none of your business, right? And like you can't dwell on that or let that affect you. And I look back to this and I'm like, man, I bet this night could have gone a lot differently if I would have given my son a break. Like I was trying to force him to regulate at the touch of a button. Like I wanted to control him. I wanted him to do that because I was worried about what people were going to say. And like, I honestly feel like if I would have just sat there in the car with him long enough, if we would have just sat there and I let him feel those emotions, like his body reacting, right? Like it was holding on to that reaction. I think if I waited long enough in the car with him, maybe just kept trying to hug him, or maybe try to sing him a song, or try to do something that like could shift him to where he could downshift himself back to neutral, then he probably could have gone out in a neutral state and been at that level from the get-go. Like, and he could have just shown up late, right? And I could have avoided like having this kind of public scene or whatever. And so it was a good lesson for me. It was a good lesson for me to remind me of the importance of that pause, of realizing that, those reactions, those immediate emotions we feel, like even though the sensations feel so intense and like I said, like it feels like your world is on fire. Like it feels like everything is ending. The world is ending right now in this moment, right? Like it feels like that in that moment. But if you can just like breathe and take a pause and take a step away, take a break, remove yourself, like take that pause. And I think about, my mother-in-law hugging me. Like that was a part, like that was her helping me co-regulate. And I'm like, this is like the whole thing that they try to help us with, like with my son's team and all the things that we're learning as like a group, like as a collective to try to help him, develop and grow and thrive to his best ability in life is like he like especially as a young son and even our kids as they get older they still need that, like, right, like I'm like almost 40 years old and my mother-in-law helped me regulate, right, like we need that still, like we need that co-regulation sometimes. And so I think about how having her give me that hug and me really like receiving it and giving my body a chance, it was like she came into the space neutral, so it was her neutrality, her comfort helped me come down, helped me regulate and realize like, it's okay. Like, it's really not that big of a deal. Like, this is not as big and bad as I think it is, right? That I'm making it out to me, that my mind is like making it worse, right? Like, my mind was blowing it up and making it a lot worse than it really was, right? So it's like the same thing with me being a parent to my son is like, man, I really need to take that pause for myself to get myself back to neutral so that then I can meet my son who's up here and stay at this neutral spot so that he can come down and meet me, right? Like I'm going to give him some of my that safety, that regulation, and helping him get back to that neutral state. So I hope that this speaks to you in some way, or maybe has you reflect on some situations, maybe where you've been heightened. And I think if we look back and we can reflect, we can see where maybe we could have paused in a situation. Or hopefully, this can help you remember the next time you find yourself in a heightened state or when you're in a reactive state, like knowing like it's okay to take a pause, take a break, take a time out and get yourself back to neutral. And I think this is so important as a parent as well. Like I am in this parenting class right now too that's kind of coinciding with my son's private occupational therapy. It's sensory based and there's like a parent group. And that was one of the things that they were teaching us is, your kids see you as kind of like this safe haven, right? Like you're the safety or the foundation that provides them to go out into the world on their own. And then if something happens, they know that they can come back to you for that safety or that reassurance, right? And so I think that applies to this, like this whole regulation thing, right? Like being that safe space for them. Like so often our kids will trigger us and we get into that heightened state, but at the same time, like we're the adults and we need to remember that like it's kind of our job to like regulate ourselves and bring ourselves back so then we can be that neutral and safe space for our kids to help them come back to neutral. And I think I've got teenage daughters and for them, if something happens at school, like it is life or death, right? Like it is the end of the world as they know it. And, something happened and it's the end of the world. That's all they can see. They can only see, through that narrow lens that this is the only thing. They don't see that there's a whole other life ahead of them outside of this one moment, right? And I think that's the process of like teaching them like this isn't the end of the world. Like this too shall pass, right? Like that's such a cliche thing to say, but it's so true. Bringing it back to the whole like sun analogy, right? Like you can be in like this storm and it can feel like the world is ending, like you're not going to catch a break, but the sun comes back again. The storm always passes, right? Might be some collateral damage, like there's repairs sometimes, but the sun comes back, that like things will be okay. Everything always works out, Like, so I hope this resonated with you in some way, and I would love to hear back from you. Please let me know, if there's a situation you remember where this
situation may have happened to you in some capacity, like on some level with this whole thing. Did you know that there was a difference between, feelings and emotions? Because I know I didn't until I found this out. Like that was a really interesting way, I feel like, to look at it, to notice that, the emotions are like those reactions, those automatic kind of sensations versus the feelings or the stories and the interpretations we tell ourselves. I think that's a great awareness to come to so that we can be more in charge of our feelings and emotions, right? Because emotions we don't always have control over. Those are just immediate reactions. Those are things that are like kind of wired into us. But we do have control over the stories we tell ourselves about our experiences. We have control over how long, we ruminate on things and how we can like untangle some of these things, right? So I hope this gives you some empowerment in those situations. And, I did talk about some of the struggles we have with our son and him being in the special education realm and just some of those things. Like, and I want you to know that you're not alone. So if you feel comfortable sharing with me any of your stories, or if you experience some of these things with your kids, like I would love to hear it. Please share with me, because I know there was so many times, and that moment when I was crying and upset, like I was put right back to like some of our days in preschool where I was so frustrated and just had no idea what to do, thinking I was so alone. I'm the only parent that has a kid that's like not doing what they should, but it's like it's not true. But in the moment, you feel like you're the only one that's dealing with this. Like you're the only one that has a kid who's being dysregulated and not wanting to participate, which is so far from the truth. Like, even if your kid does not have any kind of delays, like every kid has, bad days, or we have moments. I mean, even as adults, we all have moments where we get dysregulated or we get set off, or, so it's just kind of learning to recognize those things and like learning how to work through them and not let them take over our days and things like that. So to come back, not letting things derail us so far. So I hope that spoke to you. So again, please let me know if this resonated with you, or share it with somebody who you think might need some hope, and let them know that they're not alone and that you do have people that are here to support you. Find your person that you can, regulate with, find your co-regulator people, find a friend that you can call or vent to, or go hide in the closet or the bathroom, I don't know, to scream, cry, whatever you need to do to give yourself that time out, that break, to like come back to center. Play music. Music's like one of my favorite ways to get myself back. So anyway, I hope this resonated with you and gave you some level of hope and encouragement and empowerment to deal with some of these things when they come up. I can't wait to see you guys next week. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today on the Heart AF podcast. If this episode inspired you, share it with a friend who could use a little hope right now. And don't forget to leave a rating and review. Not only does it mean the world to me, but it also helps others find the show. Plus, every month I'll be choosing a review at random to win a $100 Amazon gift card. So make sure you screenshot yours and send it to me on Instagram at chelsea.vanbuskirk. I can't wait to be back with you next week. Until then, keep choosing love, keep choosing hope, and let's live Heart AF.